Hey everybody, and welcome to another Game Chat here on NintendoFuse. Today I'm joined by Barry,
Hey guys, how's it going?
and we are going to talk about a game called Battle Chasers Nightwar. All right, Battle Chasers Nightwar, if you didn't know, is a turn-based RPG. It's developed by Airship Syndicate and published by THQ Nordic. It was released in October of 2017 for Microsoft and Mac and PlayStation and Xbox One, but later in May of this year, 2018, for the Nintendo Switch. So it's kind of based off of a comic book series that is made by Joe Madeira. I think I say his name right. It's a game that involves a lot of grinding, a lot of moments of difficulty, especially later on, at least for me. It just harkens back to that old school RPG kind of side of things, as well as like this comic book style. And I think I kind of like that. Barry, what's your initial response thinking about Battle Chasers Nightwar?
This is one of those games that I've said it before on our podcast and stuff, like, oh, this came out and I really want to get to it. And I finally broke down and I had a little bit of time in between other games to review. And it was sitting there on my shelf just staring at me. I'm like, you know what? I am playing that game. And I really enjoyed it. I'll be honest, I did not finish this game. I did not have the time to finish it. But I must have sank about 20-something hours into it. The graphics are great. The art style is amazing. I like the turn-based nature, the way it worked. It had a lot of elements of strategy. Like, I was really, really liking how you could pre-plan, like over the next few attacks, you gain HP every time they hit you. So, like, if it was like one of those enemies that like launched all these like arrows at you, you could do that. So every arrow is hitting you for 5, but you're healing for like 3. So it's like, oh, well, it's doing so much less damage. You really have to, like, there are certain RPGs where defend is an option, and most people don't even touch it. This is one of those that you really need to know, all right, the enemy is going next before I'm going to go. I need to defend. It's better to defend than to just go another attack, because the enemies will hurt. And every dungeon you go into gets progressively harder, and you can make it even harder. Like, you can choose the difficulty you want for better reward. It's cool, but you have, like, limited healing. You can't just, like, run around and, heal myself up. Like, you have to use like field skills to heal up or potions to heal up, and if you're not prepared, it could spell disaster. And you can't just leave and come back, because I believe if you come back, it starts fresh. It's like an instance. But the characters are really cool. The story was intriguing. There's 5 different characters. I stuck with the 3 that they started me with, because they give you a tank, a healer, and a DPS. I really didn't need to change it up.
It's so true. That's right.
What about you? How far did you get?
Yeah, I didn't get too far in it actually at all. I did end up beating like the first dungeon thing, and then getting to the area where you go to the second dungeon, and I just didn't get any further than that. But I stuck with just those 3 too. I just
well, you didn't even find.
I didn't even get to find the other people. That's right.
Yes,
So I didn't get to check out the other people that much. So yeah, that's right. I got to see other people doing some stuff, because I did kind of watch a few things where people were playing with some other characters and stuff. But yeah, so I had a lot less than you did even on this one, Barry. Yeah, I really just kept like grinding away for a while, and then it was time for me to take it back, because I rented it. So I was like, yeah. So it was just it was a small amount of time, but yeah, I probably put in only like 4, maybe 5 hours into it. So yeah. I'm looking forward to even picking it up again sometime, because I did enjoy my time with it that much. I really like you with the battle system. It's very interesting, because you're right with the defending and the protecting of all that stuff, what's going to happen next, and also the overcharge stuff, where you get to basically have more MP, more magic points, and you can use that later on in battle. It's really it's kind of like helps you to think in different ways than some other things do. So I really I enjoy that. So
Then
Yeah.
those overcharges have saved my butt, especially like the healing ones and the defense.
Yes.
And see,
That's
like, and
right.
what I liked is like a lot of there wasn't just attack. Like there were attacks that had other effects. Like your tank could attack and then put a shield over
Yeah.
the weakest HP player, and it happens all automatically. Or like the DPS can attack and then put a haste buff on everybody as well.
Mm,
And like things like that I like. It's multi-tiered. It's not just like attack, heal,
mm,
attack, buff. You can buff and attack at the same time, and you got to use what's interesting too is there's a system in addition to like using your big powerful things where you gain a new level, like a new meter. So in addition to like your HP and your MP, you have a new meter which I forget what it's called now. But
yeah.
like if you do like your base attack, you feel that meter up to like 10 points. And then if you do another one, it's a 20, and it keeps accumulating. And then those points are used instead of your MP
Mm,
for casting spells or skills.
yeah.
So if you just want to run through and use all your skills, you're going to be out of mana and you can't
Mm,
recover. So you
mm,
actually have to use this system to try and build up this point and use this instead of your mana, because every battle you start out with 0 and it's like free spells. And there are bonuses, like if you never actually used any of your mana but you use skills, like you get bonus experience and stuff like that. It's a really thought-provoking experience. Some people may not like it because it makes even the simple battles take a little bit longer because there's some strategy involved. And I will say there was some load time in
yeah.
between battles.
Yeah.
That is probably the biggest negative I can
Mm,
say, and that is
yeah.
most likely only on the Switch version, but I don't
Mm,
know.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, there is some loading.
Which is really sad because the Switch version is on a game cart, so it
Yes,
should go faster on load stuff,
should.
and it costs $10 more on the Switch. By the
Yes,
way, yeah, we should say
yes.
that too. So yeah, it's really interesting. It's 30 everywhere else and 40 on the Switch, and yeah, so. You would think that this would be the case, but it is really nice to look at. I don't know if you got to play in handheld much, really,
Yes, I
Barry.
played it all on
Did you
handheld
all in
actually.
handheld? Okay, I felt like there were times when I was playing in handheld, especially in the dungeons. That was like the dungeon there that it was like a little bit dark for me to see
Yes.
or stuff. Yeah, so I was kind of like trying to figure out, oh, what's going on here? What is that? Is that something I need to look at? And so I'm glad I wasn't by myself in that as well. So yeah, yeah,
No, that's definitely a case.
yeah.
It's interesting too because when Battle Chasers Nightwar was first shown off, it was shown off in a Nintendo Direct, and it was announced as a timed exclusive for the Switch. The
Mm,
developers then stated that that was false information, and that it would be released on all three platforms at the same time. And then it
man,
turned out that the Switch version then got delayed to the
I
following
had no
year.
idea.
So
Okay,
it went from being a timed exclusive to being several months delayed into the following year.
yeah.
But I will say that I'm very happy that it came physical.
Mm,
You know, more and more titles going to need to be physical. I'm glad this is one of those that made it physical. I'm glad to own a copy,
mm,
and yeah, it's a fun game. It's
yeah.
$40.
Mm-hmm,
Um, and if you like RPGs, if you like turn-based RPGs, if you like strategy,
mm,
you can't go wrong with this title.
mm,
If you're one
yeah.
of those that just you like RPGs, but you don't want to grind at all, and you just want to kind of button mash your way through it,
Mm,
this is definitely not the game for you.
mm,
You will get killed. It's not. I wouldn't say it's difficult. It's just strategic, and you need a little more
yeah.
time. You
Yeah.
can make. I did all the dungeons on the easiest difficulty, and it's still each
Okay.
dungeon still took me like 45 minutes because I explored everywhere. There's
Yeah.
hidden items in the dungeons.
Yeah.
There's like checkpoints of like things you can find,
Mm,
all the chests, stuff like that. So I'm a completionist. I had to get it all, but I
yeah.
didn't like. I thought about like, oh, now I'm stronger. Maybe I can go back to like the first dungeon and play it on a higher difficulty. I
Yeah.
just never sunk the time into doing so. But if you want to,
Mm-hmm.
you could do that for more loot. Loot is random, so it's like a Diablo style system in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right. So you do get to you get more experience, you get more things like that, and I did go and try to do the next level of difficulty with the dungeon too. So see if I could do some of that, and I didn't do very well. So I kind of came out of there and thought, okay, maybe you do need to go and level up in the open world a little more. And the open world is kind of interesting because it's basically like a track that you walk on, and once you see a little bubble and you know that there's a battle there, that's where you're going to go, and you battle it out. If you want to grind, if you want to avoid those, you can avoid them and go a different path a lot of times, and it's very, very interesting. Did you appreciate the kind of like organized pathway, Barry, or did you think it would be even better if you could kind of go a little more places?
I didn't mind the organized pathway because there were hidden things along it. It wasn't just A to B with monsters in between. There were alternate paths. There was treasure chests in some areas. There was hidden areas. There was hidden quests. And the fact that they had that made it better. There were shrines to get like double experience for a few battles, or HP regeneration for a few battles, and you could plan accordingly. I thought it was really, really well done. I just wish I could stop time and just play, because that's a problem. It's a long game. I got all 5 characters. We were going through in the story, and I just didn't want to use the other 2 characters just because I liked my team. And who knows? I could have been missing the greatest thing that opens up, the floodgates wide open. But for me, and that's another thing too, is like the other characters, I don't believe, and I could be wrong, they don't gain experience. I think it's one of those where only your active party gets experience, and I hate RPGs at that point that do that, because then it's just really, now I got to swap to the other characters and grind them up. Like, even if they only get half experience, at least everybody's getting something. So if I do have to swap to them to even it out, it's not as bad. I remember back in the day playing Final Fantasy X, and like every battle I would swap out because only people who participated in the battle got experience. So like my whole first turn would be swapping to my whole secondary team just before I would battle. And I was like, thinking back, I'm like, well, I was in college then. I guess I had the time to do it. Now I'd probably put a gun to my face and just go like, no, I can't do that. That's so much time trying to get everybody up. I just can't do that.
Oh, that's right.
I don't have the time for it. So I wish that it did allow everybody at the same time to get level. But if you're not going to use the other 2 people, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. See, that's right. I definitely like that. That idea of experience share a little bit. So yeah, that's also true. I think that is right. I think I did read that somewhere that the other people don't. You have to put them in order to do that. And yeah, I'm with you, Barry.
You can't switch people like in the middle of the battle. You also can't switch people in the middle of a dungeon. So like if you're in a dungeon, you're stuck with that party. Like you're good. Like I said, you have like field skills. Like one can not be hit by traps, and there are traps and spikes and all that. There's rooms that are just dark, and you need to use like one field skill to light a torch while using another one that you don't take the spikes because there's like a spike path and you gotta walk. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Oh yes.
And of course, if you step in the spikes, you take massive damage, and one field skill is to heal, but you only have 6 for the whole dungeon. And you're like, oh my god, I need to get into a battle and it'll do nothing but spam heal and hope I leave that battle at full HP.
That's right.
So
that's right.
There are some negatives, but it wasn't enough to derail my experience.
Yeah. Oh, well, great. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that, Barry. So, this is something that, like Barry said, he would recommend to those who are really good RPG fans, those that love a grind, love a little bit of a difficulty, as things progress in the story, and, all of the dungeons, going through those and finding everything. If you enjoy that kind of thing, this is a great game for you to pick up, because like you say, you do have 40-50 hours worth of gameplay here if you want to do absolutely everything. So that's well worth it, and that's pretty great. So maybe worth a look for you if you want to try it out. So
there's definitely your money's worth. I mean, it's without a shadow of a doubt. It's just a matter of how do you want to spend your time. If this sounds interesting to you, then you should absolutely spend your time doing it. If not, then you shouldn't even waste it. Like it's really one of those games that you're either gonna absolutely love this game or it's just not for you. For me, I absolutely loved it. I just wish I had enough time to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. So true. So true. Well, that's great. Well, thank you very much, Barry, for joining me for Battle Chasers Night War. Yeah, and I thank you all for checking us out here. Make sure you check out our website, NintendoFuse.com, and our other YouTube stuff. We've got industry talks, game chats, direct chats. We've got all kinds of good stuff, gameplay videos, and so subscribe and yeah, just let us know if you've played Battle Chasers Night War. Did you like it? Did you enjoy that? We'd love to hear from you. So thank you very much for checking us out, and you have a good day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.